Hello and welcome to week 11 of our course here in Research Methods and Library and Information Science. This week we're going to be talking about analysis of data. I know it's one that probably some of you have dreaded the idea of hearing about, but we have made it this far, and let's get this discussion going on analysis of data. Once you've got it, how do you turn it into what you need to tell your story? Here we are, week 11. Just a couple questions to consider as you think about statistical analysis this week. Question 1, statistics have a reputation for being difficult, yet a necessary evil for researchers. This is my kind of attitude on them as well. Whom in your life could you turn to if you needed assistance with statistical analysis? I'm very big into not doing things alone if you don't have to. So who can you ask to help you out with statistical analysis? Question 2, what are the potential dangers with including statistics in your write-up when you are not a statistical expert? Right? What pitfalls, what snake pits can you fall into with statistics if you try to overdo it or do more than you're comfortable or really capable of doing? Question 3, when you read research articles that include statistics, does it help you to turn the information into a pictorial representation, or does it not make a difference to you? In other words, does it help when you see charts and graphs and other pictorial representations of statistics rather than reading about them in narrative form? Number 4, there are seemingly a different statistical test for every day of the week, right? There's the textbook mentions a large number in and of themselves. So how do you make sure that the test that you run is the right test for what you're trying to demonstrate? So that you make sure that you choose the right analysis to run on your data to get at the information that you need. And finally, number 5, various software packages exist to assist researchers with statistical analysis. What are some advantages and disadvantages of using software to doing the crunching work for you? Because there are certainly pluses and minuses of both. So just a few things to think about, and let's continue on with our discussion this week. I think maybe one of the most important steps in the entire data analysis process is the classification and coding of your data for quantitative analysis. Thankfully, classifying and coding is something that comes, I think, fairly naturally to librarians. It's just another way of organizing information, and that's something that we specialize in our field and in our work. Just a couple tips to help you with the idea of classifying and coding, and I think the text does a nice job of describing these as well. This is where a good familiarity with the topic is really important to you, so that you make sure that you're creating the most accurate and the most correct categories. The textbook mentions that if you're doing a research project about a reference service, then you probably should be intimately familiar with the reference process, because if you're not, then you're likely to choose the wrong categories or miss a category here and there, and then that will probably make your analysis incomplete and therefore detract from the overall quality of the work. Make sure that you create enough categories so that all of your data can go somewhere. That just if you've gone to the effort of collecting it, you want to make sure that you are able to analyze it in one way or another. So to make sure that you create categories that are comprehensive enough to fit your information into. They also need to be mutually exclusive categories, and that means that they can't have multiple, your data can't fit into multiple places. You need to have one spot to put your data in each category, and then that will help you differentiate the data when you're actually running an analysis, so that you can pull it apart and really break it down and look for the differences and similarities between and among your data. It's still acceptable to manually assign data to categories. If your project is small enough, it may even be faster to do so. But there are software packages and such out there that'll help you kind of automate this process. So let technology be your friend if your project is large that it requires you to have large amounts of data. If it's small enough, there's no reason not to do the coding yourself. So just a brief discussion of classifying and coding. I find this to be the easiest part of doing analysis, but that's because I'm a librarian, right? And I'm good at classifying information. It's what we do well, and maybe it's what we can contribute to a team. If we are building a team of researchers who come from multi-disciplines, this may be the one that the librarian is given the task to take the lead. So we'll continue on with a little bit more discussion on the actual statistical analysis. So I think you'll be pleased to hear that I'm not going to bore you with the specifics of statistical analysis. It's actually not the purpose of this course and of this chapter. What I'm hoping to impart upon you this week is to just understand the key concepts of statistical analysis. And so to that end, I think I'll ask you to watch the following short video. Well, short, it's medium length. I think it's about 40 minutes long. It does a really good job of describing and discussing the major types of statistical analysis, descriptive and inferential statistics. It also covers which type of analysis is appropriate to specific situations, so that you know when to use which type of analysis. And finally, it discusses parametric versus non-parametric procedures. I know these are big words, but just give the video a whirl, and I think you'll be impressed and pleased with how well the instructor does at describing what all these big terms mean, and how they can be kind of broken down into their components, so that you understand what they are and you can figure out how this might relate to your world, both as you kind of do a mock description of how you will analyze your fake data, if you will, for this research proposal for this course, but then also going forward if you are going to be undertaking original research, so that you'll understand the big words, the vocabulary of statistics and statistical analysis. So basically this video will cover about pages 269 to 280 in the textbook, and I really do recommend that you take the time to watch it, because it does a very admirable job of taking these fairly complicated issues and breaking them down into a very manageable bite-sized topic, if you will, for this course. So do watch the video. Thankfully, advances in technology have made software very accessible and a wonderful tool to assist researchers with analysis. Although some are incredibly powerful, I also find some of them to be incredibly difficult to learn and to use. But if you're going to be working with large amounts of data, it's important that you do so, and that you take the time to learn the technology and the software, because it will make your life infinitely easier. So if you are tech savvy and you take well to new software, you should have no trouble learning and using what I consider to be robust software packages like SPSS, Microcase, and SAS. They allow for the various types of analysis, and since they are industry standards, they are fully accepted by the research community as reliable and valid tools. So if you like technology and you like learning new software and have to do data analysis, then choosing one of these three are probably a wise choice for you. I'm most familiar with SPSS, but I know other people are very committed to other products that do the same work. If you're less of a tech guru, and quite honestly, if your data is fairly uncomplicated, not complicated, there's no problem using something like Excel to do your basic data analysis. The advantage of that is that it also then is able to be sort of exported into making really nice looking charts and graphs. If you are one who believes in pictorial representations of data in your write-up, Excel is well regarded for being able to do this easily and efficiently. The key to using software and understanding software is just to know what product to use, right? To know what you need to know. So if you have complicated, robust data, you're going to need to either figure out yourself or get some assistance from somebody who does know how to use these complicated software packages. But if you have a small amount of data and just need to crunch a little bit, why not use what you probably already have and what you already know with a basic tool like Excel. So if you need to know more information about software, there are plenty of places out there for you to find good information about using data. Using software, to help analyze and crunch data. So finally, let's just bring this on home. I understand that statistics can be intimidating, that they can be scary. They also have a lot of potential to be really powerful, and to make your research more robust and more impactful. So my recommendation is to not be afraid of statistics, and my bigger recommendation is to know to ask for help. People who are into statistics are often aware that that's a somewhat of a unique skill, and they are willing and able to share their knowledge and their talent with you. So just know who those people are and ask for assistance, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the amount of assistance that stats people are willing and able to provide. The key is to learn the lingo of statistics, right? This will make it easier for you to communicate with your stats person, if you're going to use a stats person, to communicate with that person to find out what your analysis needs to tell, right? That's where I think the YouTube video does a really admirable job of breaking down these complicated concepts into something that's very digestible, so that you learn the vocabulary of statistics, and then you're able to communicate to other people what you need to get out of the data, and then you'll know which type of analysis to run on it. I think it also does a nice job this video does a nice job of detailing the potential that statistical analysis has to people working in the social sciences, because that's the domain that we're in. There's some areas which if you're working in the hard sciences, which you simply have to be able to do this yourself. The social sciences has enough of a leeway, I think, that not all of us need to be statistical gurus, but it helps to know the vocab and know the language of statistics, so that you can ask the right questions and get what you need out of the data that you've worked so hard to collect. So just a quick brief introduction to statistical analysis this week, and I hope that it's kind of demystified the process for you a little bit, and you feel maybe a little bit more comfortable with the idea of using analysis techniques to bring out the data that you've collected when you're working with a quantitative research project. So, okay, that's all for now, and I look forward to interacting with you going forward, and to seeing your research design here in very short order. Okay, thanks.